I have a confession, 'cause confession heals the soul. Lately I've fallen down, stumbling over past sins and secrets I've held within. Lord, I'm struggling. I need you to fix my desire.
And in this video, I want to show you that the Trinity is very much logical, with the help of none other than Taylor Swift in Bad Blood.
So take a look what you've done, 'cause baby now we got bad blood.
First of all, can we just take the time to recognize the supremacy that is this music video? I mean, it is absolutely sublime, except from the story, the VFX, the grading, the camera work, the frame rates, the cost. I mean, just all of it, except it is mwah. C'est bon. And with over 1 billion views on YouTube,
That's billion with a B.
y'all gotta put some respect on the name that is Joseph Kahn for his excellent work. The music video features a few major celebrities such as Zendaya, who plays as Cutthroat, Cara Delevingne playing as Mother K-Dot playing as Welvin the Great, Taylor Swift as Catastrophe, and Selena Gomez as Katy Perry. Now, the plot.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this episode of Song Distillery. I am Sean Mitchell and I'm joined by Zara and Edwards, and we are talking to Victor Brown about his new EP, Heartwork. Guys, this has been an awesome time to listen to Victor's music. As you know, we just go through this life, and I find all of Victor's songs super relatable in this project alone. And this week we're actually talking about the newer song, I Return, came out as a single before, and then this next track number 2, Humble Enough, actually is a brand new track, at least to our ears. I find, like I said before, these tracks really do give me a lot of conviction and a lot of stuff to digest. But so that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're wondering why I'm holding my microphone,
in case you're wondering, my microphone arm just decided to jump off my desk right before we started recording. So I'm just, you know what, we're going in today.
You will not be deterred.
No, not at all. You know, we're gonna work with what the Lord gives us. I'm not gonna waste my time.
That's right.
But yeah, like I said, that's what we're talking about today. And again, we have Zara and Edwards joining us. Zara, last week, I don't think you really, I mean, you might have, but I don't recall how much information you gave about yourself. Would you like to reintroduce yourself? Just tell our audience, who you are, where you're from, and exactly what you do, so people can understand your street cred, because you have
street cred.
Yeah.
I mean, street cred. Sure. No. Anyway, I claim it. So I'm Sara Ann Edwards. They call me the chirpy one. I am a radio announcer at Love 101 FM. That's the #1 gospel station in the nation. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, the #1 gospel station in the nation.
Shameless plug.
And I host. Yeah. And I host afternoon radio Monday to Friday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. alive. Yeah. Lively show. You guys have to tune in. Yeah. And on Sundays, I do the Sunday showcase from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So full-time radio announcer.
That's awesome. So do you guys only do Broadway or broadcasting through
Broadway?
I don't know, out of Broadway, but broadcasting through like the airwaves, like through actual radio, or do you guys actually do internet broadcasting as well?
Well, we go live, with the new age of technology and all of those things. So we go live on Facebook and YouTube. Well, I have to go live for my program. Yeah. And the app, so we not only cater to those in Jamaica, but on the wider scale, like on the international scene. So, once you log on to us online or you downloaded the app, you can connect with us. Breeze.
Dope. Okay, dope. And if we remember to, we're gonna put that information down in the description below.
Yes, we will.
So that everybody can check out what you do. And we love to support people who come on this show because you're dedicating your time to us, and we just want to show you some love. And our audience loves music, so it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And we're a gospel station, of course.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
And and it's good to be edified by that too, and
Absolutely.
actively seeking that out, and giving your mind something other than think about than just the world and the music that you hear. I know it sounds like somebody's grandma right now. You need to turn that worldly music off. But you know what? Hey, you gotta also get into the spirit, and also remember that God created music for his purpose and his glory.
Yeah.
That's right.
And for us to give praise to him. So my camera just blinked up. But remember that, guys. That's important, especially for our viewers. If you are of the Christian faith, and if not, then I guess it doesn't apply to you as much. But anyway, like I was saying before, we're here to talk about Humble Enough.
Yes.
By yours truly, Victor Brown.
Victor Brown. And just before we go to, we delve into the song, I know that Shawn is very excited to dissect this one because he loves it. Yeah, just before we do that, just reminder, quickly give us a summary of who Victor Brown is for probably the new listeners and new viewers.
All right. Hi guys. Very, very basically, I am a multi-passionate creative. So I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a creative individual. So it means that my pursuits and a huge chunk of my energy goes behind creating different things. Multi-passionate meaning there are a number of different things I'm passionate about, particularly writing, creative mentorship, songwriting, leading worship, that sort of thing. I think that pretty much sums it up. Jamaican born. I'm a Jamaican born. I'm currently in the States. Yeah.
Wait. You're in the States now?
Oh Lord, yes, Sarah. I can't believe no Sarah radio. Yes.
Sean.
Don't blow a fuse. Don't blow a fuse.
I told
talk
her
about
you were
stuff
Jamaica,
here.
bro. I told her you were in Jamaica. She don't care. My bad.
God, what?
Bro, I didn't know. I thought you said I'm back in. I thought you said
I'm back
in,
here. Oh my word.
Yeah. I thought you meant like. I thought you meant Jamaica.
I'm gonna be in Virginia next week. Like what?
See, I didn't. Bro, I don't know I don't know how you operate. I don't know where you go to and from.
Oh, the tour live. The tour live.
Spy life. If I tell you, I'm gonna have to eliminate it.
It's okay. I was telling Shawn that you take plane life. How you take taxi?
That's
Shawn.
not true. That's not true.
That's not true. True, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway, humble enough. Yes.
Let's talk about humble enough. What
The
do you guys want to
name.
know?
Why?
The name.
Why the
Why
name?
the
Yeah.
name?
How
Alright.
did that come?
So humble enough is a shortening of humble enough to be used by you, which is the refrain, the closing line in the refrain of the song. I couldn't come up with a name for the song. When I wrote it, I was just like, humble feels too short. Humble enough feels like an incomplete thought. Originally it felt like an incomplete thought, but then I was like, humble enough to be used by you is a long name. It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I think James just went with humble enough, and I was cool with it. But yeah, humble enough has to do with, when we look at scripture, we see that the Bible says that God, embraces and draws near to the humble people. He despises pride. He hates pride. My mom is a big stickler on humility. It's a character that she has exemplified, something my father exemplified, and something that as parents, they both would have, in my Christian upbringing, kind of said, like, you need to make sure you're humble, make sure you're grounded, make sure your feet are on the ground, make sure that you're not hype, as Jamaican people would say, you're not hype, you're not fully yourself, you're not cocky or arrogant or that kind of thing. But pride is such an insidious thing that it takes many different forms. I think typically what we see is that people will quickly assume that someone who is arrogant is a proud person, but they will not see some of the less visible forms of pride. We have things like social pride rampant in the church, where particularly I know in Jamaica, like, some churches, it depends on what you drive and the kind of clothes you wear, you are sometimes kind of puffed up, as opposed to somebody else who doesn't quite have the means that you have or access to the resources that you have. And so things like social pride are not visible, but their pride no less than, the other types that we see when someone walks around like, very cockily or arrogantly. And so the Lord was really speaking to me about pride and the need for humility. And it's the fact that, bro, if you're going to be used by me, you're going to have to be humble. So I gotta be humble throughout the song, singing that line over and over, because God made it clear that, I'm going to have to be humble to be used by him and to please him. You know what I mean? And so it was really a heart's cry. I actually, even though that song is very dancey, I got that song in tears. I remember the night when I started writing that song. I just got home from church. I was at my mom's house. I walked into my bedroom at the time. My keyboard was set up. So I plugged it in, and I got the refrain first. What you guys would call like the hook or the chorus. I got that part first. Gotta be humble, gotta be humble, gotta be humble, gotta be humble, gotta be humble enough to be used by you. And I was weeping. Because God was just showing me in my own heart how much pride there was, because I had fallen victim to what I just described in terms of looking out and seeing people who are arrogant as, oh, that person is proud, I don't want to be like that. But not realizing that I had areas of pride in my own heart. For example, religious pride. I'm very proud about my faith, which is a thing. A lot of Christians are extremely proud about our faith. Not proud as in proud to bear the name Jesus, which is commendable, but proud in a sense of kind of lording our faith over people in a very religious manner. And so, yeah, that's how the name came about. That's the story behind, me getting the song from the Lord, him confronting me on areas of pride. And I remember there was also a minister that I admired very greatly back then as a teenager, and he fell into some sin issues. And I remember it really broke my heart. Because when church leadership kind of discussed it and dissected it, one of the things they identified was a problem in the person's life was pride. And I was like, Lord, I don't want to go down the same road. I don't want my life to take the same course. I literally wept while I was writing, the first part of that song. It wasn't until sometime later that the song began to take the form of funk and be very upbeat. But the first writing session was weeping over the keyboard. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. And like, just the fact that you use the writing technique to like, it's more humbling track, lack of a better word. It's a somber track, maybe, like the message is somber. But then the
upbeatness of it.
Yeah, the upbeatness of the track. It reminds me of like what Pharrell did with Happy. Like he wrote the song Happy in a minor key. And it's like, that's kind of ironic. It's like the whole song is like super, like there's no sense
only
of
Pharrell.
Only
Pharrell. I think most people don't even realize that, but it's the beauty of creativity, isn't it? To be able to juxtapose words against an odd canopy. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
Humble enough to
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and that's the fun. You see, that's why being creative is so fun.
It's so dope.
Because that was something that I've always loved about Humble Enough. It is, the message is very sober. It's not a fun message, to be honest. But the music is very upbeat, funky, fresh, fun.
Okay, yeah.
And so my prayer is that the audience, while enjoying the musicality of it and kind of rocking, at the same time, they're also like, conviction kind of sniffing in there.
Right. Dog, I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes. You know what I mean?
You guys are hilarious.
That's exactly what I want to have.
Bro, like I know. I'm like, oh my God, I know this song is speaking to me right now, but I'm like, I'm turned.
And that's exactly that was the idea. Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful.
No,
Victor. No, go ahead, Shawn.
I'm good. Go ahead.
Now, Victor, you mentioned that you wrote this song in the night. You just came from church and you were going to your mom's house and the keyboard was already set up. And when exactly, when did you write it?
I've honestly been trying to remember when I wrote Humble Enough.
Before 2018, though.
It was definitely before 2018. Yeah. Listen,
Oh yeah. Matter, I just interject here. It is now 2022.
It's now 2022,
Just-
which is
Facts.
wild, right? Like that still feels weird coming out of
Crazy.
your mouth. It feels weird coming out of mine.
Yeah.
I mean, it was released in 2021, to be frank, but you know,
Oh.
2018, 2021.
Oh,
But it's okay.
I see what you're doing now. So I thought you were actually doing something else. I think you're actually low-key chastising me for the delays. It's all right.
I'm
It's
not.
okay.
That's a strong
I can
word,
handle it.
Victor.
I can handle it.
Chastise.
Strong word.
So much shade. But yeah, again, this was a song that was written. This was definitely written late teens, early 20s. I may have been probably like 20 when I wrote this song. I'm telling you, like
Right.
this song, I Return was definitely before Humble, I think, or was it all the way around? I don't remember. I know it was in that window, but I know I Return was definitely 18, 19 thereabout. And I know Humble Enough would have been in the same time span, somewhere about probably 1920.
So 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
It's
7
been
to
a
8
while,
years ago.
but you have to remember as well, Sarah. Yes, thanks for pointing to 7 years ago, right? But you have to remember.
I'm not chastising you, Victor. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You have to remember that when I wrote these songs, again, I had literally no context for. I wasn't writing for anybody. I like humbling.
Oh, it was just
I
for
didn't write
yourself,
for
yeah.
anybody. I was
Right.
literally when I go to devotion. I used to write songs in devotion customarily. Like I've thrown away more songs than will ever see the light today. Because I used to just go to devotion, sit with the Lord, and I would just write a new song to the Lord, and that would be it. The song is done, and that's done. I'm not planning to do that anywhere. It's just, God and I had a conversation. It took the form of a song, and that's done. You know what I mean? And
My man's Victor, the real David out here, writing.
I know, right?
Every day, bro. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's why I want to be a songwriter, because that's cool. Like I'm just not a vocalist and I don't write lyrics, so like it's not my thing. I'm like I make a beat and like
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't interject there.
It's cool. No,
Yeah.
it's cool. To God be the glory. I mean, it's just I just give God honor for like what He does. Because again, I could never take credit for like even that. You know what I mean? Because persons who strive to do these things allow it to get to their heads or make it a thing because I want to be, the most prolific songwriter of the century. I still don't have any desire to do that. I still have no plan to do that. I just write songs whenever I feel like the Lord wants me to do that and then share them when I can. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love your hand movements when you're doing those things that you're trying to. So, yeah. No, yeah. Now the song Victor is 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Now, how long did it take you to write it or put it together?
Humbly enough, probably took a day or two. Literally, I wrote that song. I wrote that most in that season of my writing. I wrote songs mostly in one sitting, maximum 2 sittings, not over. So like humbly enough, I Return. Those songs would have come to me in just one sitting. I would have just been like, I would have gotten the hook when I got home. Gotta be, gotta be, gotta be, gotta be, gotta be, humble enough to be used by you. Da 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 da. I'll never forget that line. Humble enough to be used by you. And then I would have started like writing the Lord, you see, and probably in one sitting, either in one sitting of a couple hours or like 2 days. Of 2 different sittings, it would have just been done. Yeah.
Okay.
And like the process though, like just to go from creating, like you said, you started
Yes.
when you were like 20, and then you come to this midpoint where you actually put pen to paper, and then you hand it off to a production team, and then you get everybody to understand what you're thinking. Like that process is such a journey, man.
It's quite a journey, and it's crazy. Because when a lot of when I write, which is why I really want to learn more instruments. I don't have the time to, but when the more I know musically in terms of like an instrument or otherwise, it changes my writing. My writing improves because now I'm not writing 3 instruments, I'm writing 5. And when I'm hearing a song, I'm hearing parts. So I'm hearing, oh yeah, this could go there and that could go there, and then this part could be for that. You know what I mean? So it has that kind of feel. That's why when I would have written that song, and then the first time I did it would have been at Stillwaters, which was shout out to Andre Whitaker. Stillwaters, I would have done it at Stillwaters, invited to do it there. Would have met with a live band for the first time in my life to work up my music, and would have, gone through the sketch of the song, sung it for them, sung the parts, and then they would have worked out the different, drum part. But I'd have been like, I want you to play something like something funk like that.
yeah.
I'm hearing like a do 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 or whatever, and and then the bass would add to that. So you give these guys like Chad a stem, and Chad is like, all right, cool. And then Chad just goes in and Chad just takes like the skeleton of what you said, and he just makes this thing into a whole mighty army. And the same with like Javis and people like LJ. Back in that time, John Mark Simpson was playing on Stillwater's band, prolific pianist as well. So he would have been one of the original ones to work out like piano parts for Humble Enough alongside Javis McIntosh. And that was years ago, you know what I mean? But to God be the glory that we actually got it done, and it's shared with people now.
And if I might just interject here, Victor, you mentioned that you actually want to know to play more instruments. So currently I know that Victor plays the keyboard. He does a little bit of drumming, but you said 3 instruments. What's the third?
Guitar.
You play guitar?
A little bit. I just don't
Lead guitar?
I don't do public anymore. I know the acoustic guitar. I don't play
anymore.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh.
I know you got one. I know you got one right next to you, bro. Can you just give us a little taste?
No. How did you even see that guitar?
Sean,
Bro,
Sean, his eyes are so
X-ray
good.
vision, bro.
I'm not
Dude,
even seeing it.
how did you even see the guitar, man?
Are we looking?
You have, like,
Are we
some
looking on the
cameras?
same screen?
Nah.
I think Sean
the
got
Holy
a glimpse.
Spirit, bro. That was straight- no.
Flesh and blood did not reveal this.
Let me
There's a
chill out.
guitar
Let me-
literally right there. But no, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
Okay, great. So Victor, well, Sean is the pro at doing the what you call the instrumentals and all of those
Yeah.
things. So I want Sean last week he didn't help me with the words I was trying to find. So Sean, and are we gonna hear that song by the way, Victor? I hope so.
Which song is this? Humble Enough?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we can
The
play
one
it
we're
right now. We
talking
can-
about, bro.
I mean,
You can get there, man.
yeah. You know what I really loved about this song though? Sean, I know you really love this one as well. But
Yes, I do.
what do you call the part that he said? Yeah. Is that the bridge? Yeah.
The
Yeah, that's the bridge. Yeah.
That's the bridge.
Great
Remember,
and
it was
far
crazy.
from riding the-
I was
That
I was about to ask you about it, bro. I was like, how did you write that bridge? Because that was insane. Like, how did you get the feeling of the
Bro.
sick and patient to be like, like
I-
you felt that, bro. You had to
It was
feel that.
crazy.
I
It was
felt it.
crazy.
It's I
Well-
listened to I'm gonna share the song and then I'm gonna answer that right after.
Bet,
Beautiful. Okay.
You see, I wanna be a part of your purpose and a part of your plan. Lord, you know I wanna go. Wherever you send me, that's where I wanna be. But I will never be walking in my destiny, no, till I walk in humility. Yeah. Wanna be used by you, wanna do what you wanna do. So will you take me, Lord, and make me right? Lord, remove the blindness from my eyes. Let your Holy Spirit break my pride. 'Cause brokenness is what I need inside. I gotta be humble. I gotta be humble. I gotta be humble enough to be used by you. So take me, Lord, and make me new. I wanna be used by you. A contrite heart is what I need. In my inward parts, I pray for purity. I gotta be set apart. Lord, consecrate me, yeah, for ministry. be humble. Lord, I've got to be humble. Gotta be humble enough to be used by you. Oh, humble enough to be used by you. Yeah, great men fall from pride in their lives. Grace me, cleanse me, humbly I cry. I need you, Jesus. And I'm so wayward, I'm so messed up, disobedient, but I'm confessing that I need you, Jesus. Daily, Lord, I'm calling, the mercy save me. Lord, I'm calling out, I need you, and yeah, I'm not too sure you can save me. You sent your son to die just to claim me, and I receive you, I receive you, I receive you, I receive you, God, I receive you, I receive you. So will you take me, Lord, and make me right, yeah. Remove the blindness from my eyes. Let your Holy Spirit break my pride. Brokenness is what I need. Brokenness is what I need inside. I gotta be humble. I gotta be humble. I gotta be humble. Humble enough to be used by you. Humble enough to be used by you. I gotta be humble enough to be used by you. Humble enough to be used by you.
Such a beautiful song, very creative. And Sean, I know you're just blown away over there.
Air horn sounds, dog. That is just such
Yeah.
a good song.
Praise
Just
God.
Yeah.
beautiful work, man.
Praise God. That song is very, very dear to my heart. There's just every time I listen to that song, I'm brought back to the conversations with the Lord, and just like him talking to me about humility and like talking as a father to a son about the importance of remaining humble. And it's so crazy, like, because even though that song was written so many years ago, the message of truth is timeless. Truth doesn't change. I know we're in a world now where there's a lot of, oh, your truth and my truth and our truth. But I believe in an absolute truth. I believe that the truth of God's word remains immovable, unchangeable, timeless. And so the reality that we as human beings are required or need to be humble. The Bible says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. That is something that will never change. And so I'm just grateful that we're able to share it with people, and I pray that they're blessed and ministered to by it.
Beautiful.
Amen.
And then this song is like a song of confession too, because
Absolutely.
True.
yeah, so you've returned and you're confessing to God.
Yeah, that pride was one of the
Humbly.
reasons why I strayed.
Yeah.
Come on now, let's preach.
The narrative.
Preached it.
Narrative.
Yeah.
And Pastor Brown.
And so returning, but the truth is that the arrangement of the songs on the EP took a specific arrangement. It wasn't just, oh, this song is nice here. I was thinking through the narrative of, the I Return definitely would have had to have been the first track for a lot of reasons, just in terms of that point in my life back at 18, 19, recommitting to the Lord. I Return, enshrines that moment and codifies that moment in melodic format. And then, Humble Enough would have definitely been what would have had to have come after, because I think that song was written right after, and then it dealt with the single biggest issue that would have caused, any sort of backsliding in my heart would have been pride. Sin is a prideful thing. It is something that makes you want your way instead of God's way. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And you said right before we started the track, you were going to talk about how you wrote that bridge.
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to gas you up, because I know it's not the point of the song. Is obviously the opposite. Try to be humble, but I love that. I mean, I seriously, from a writing standpoint, from a performance standpoint, from a lot of things, I love this song. And like a personal meaning on top of that. Like it's something
I
Praise
really God used this song for me personally. But yeah,
Yeah.
like what was how was your bridge writing? Because I know a lot of times what a bridge ends up being is like, I have a song idea, but I don't have enough variation in it. Was that what
Mhm.
you felt during this time? And like, did you feel
No,
like you had to write just a bridge to get a bridge, or did you feel like,
no.
oh no, I have an idea I want to connect here?
Yeah,
I mean, I for sure heard it, but I just wanted to hear what
yeah.
your terms of inspiration was from on
Got
that.
you. So I can tell you what it was not first. It definitely wasn't a, oh, I need to have a bridge in this song. Never,
Right.
because I've realized after years of writing that most of my songs have bridges. And one of the things that and I don't just mean bridges like a two line. Most of the times it is a full stanza or a full phrase or a
Right.
full like 16 bars or whatever of bridge. You know,
Mhm.
it's a long
Yeah.
bridge. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And
Long
something I
bridge.
realized, yeah, it's a long bridge. You know, I realized a couple of things. One was a lot of the people, and I realized this after, a lot of the people I was listening to when I was writing these songs had bridges in their music. Some of these artists would have been, I mean, people like Switchfoot. I don't know, people who are watching this series will probably won't know some of these people, but people like Switchfoot, prolific songwriters, Need to Breathe, prolific songwriters, these guys, a lot of them had bridges. So even though I was not trying to ape or model their style, inevitably my musical influences would have come through that, come through into my writing. Even some of the gospel people like Kirk, people like Stevie Wonder that I listened to. I listened to a lot, especially back when I was younger. Um, these people that have influenced me just feeling the need to 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 close the arc of the song storytelling with a part of it that takes us somewhere else. Um, and then for me, a lot of my creativity, a lot of the times when I'm writing songs, I'll have like a number of ideas. I might start with one idea and it kind of bubbles up, and then two and three come up, and I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to like put everybody together. And then oftentimes I'll realize that there's a block over here and a block here, and this block is like 2/3 of the song, and this one is like 1/3, and I'm like, I need you guys to work together.
Right.
How are we going to get you guys to work together? Bridge, let's go. So the bridge kind of
Yeah.
acts as that nexus between sometimes a number of musical ideas, and it just fits.
Mm.
It just fits.
So
Um,
yeah, so I think that's kind of my question more is that, was it a bridge in the sense that, because I know sometimes when some songwriters have bridges, it is something that they kind of thought of sequentially. They thought, I want to start here, I want to have a bridge here, I want to go here. Was it more like for you that you had an idea and then you had another idea, and then I mean, from what you just said, it sounds like this, but you wanted to put there's something in between that you had to create to bridge those gaps, hence the name bridge, obviously.
I
Bridge,
think,
was it
bridge, yeah.
I think it was a little bit of that. It was a little tad of that, but mostly when I was writing Humble Enough, what I remember happening was I wrote verse 1 and verse 2, and I think I felt like there was more to be said.
Okay,
And that's
I can
what
see that.
and then what happened was, remember I mentioned earlier about the man of God that I knew who was really close, a pastor in our church, our local church, and
Yeah.
run into some issues. That situation was weighing very heavily on my consciousness, and I feel like after verse 1 and verse 2, I'd spoken a lot about my heart reflection towards the Lord regarding pride, but I hadn't yet tapped into the reality of what was happening in my life. You know what I mean? Which was as being very, very impacted by what happened with this man of God. And so I was like, I still want to talk about this particular thing. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
I felt like this could either be a verse 3, or this could be a bridge. And so I felt like, you know what? I feel like this will be a bridge, and then I'll loop the chorus after. And so that's why it starts with great men fall from pride in their lives. That's why it starts there, because I feel like, I'm moving away from talking about my own reflections towards the Lord, and Lord, make me humble. And I need to use that to like, listen, generally speaking, great men fall from pride in their lives. And then using that truth to be like, Lord, break me, cleanse me, humbly. I cry. I need you. So there's all of that. Yeah.
Dope. Well, I mean, like you said, that's prevalent in the music that I can kind of, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like that's what the vibe I got was from when you were writing that.
Got you.
when the song was playing, I was like, I can imagine that he came up with these ideas and then he had more to say.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, oh, I need to thematically connect things and, you know, say something that kind of, you know, sprinkles a little bit of fairy dust on top, you know. But
No
you know,
fairy
but it
dust.
actually no
Yeah, I
no
get
fairy
you, I
dust,
get you.
just the spirit. But it actually, you know, works, and that style of writing, I can tell it gives the track more more life, more story, more breadth, instead of just being the
Texture,
you know,
and yeah.
yeah, instead of just being like, you know, track, or not track, but you know, it's not just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. You know,
Right,
it's
right.
more than that.
It adds
It's
topography
actually,
of sorts. It
yeah,
adds terrain. It adds character to the song. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with that 100%.
It does. No, Sean, here's where I want your help.
Okay.
Right. So we're unveiling the instrumental aspects of things. So what I would have noticed is that during the bridge part, or that's what you call it, right?
The bridge.
Yeah, that
You
bridge
got
part.
it. You got it.
Well, I'm not sure if it's called the bridge, because I know that he is stopped, like the keyboards, or the keyboardist stopped at the bass guitar. Stop, or the yes, right? And then we had that. What's that instrument? Was that
Percussion.
Victor, help?
That was percussion.
Oh, the go-go, like the go-go bells.
Yeah.
Go bells?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So,
that's called a go bell?
well, no, there's a style of music called go-go. It's it's in DC, and that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah,
I
and
called
it's
it
not
go-go bells.
it's not go. So hold on, we need to do some translation here, Sean, because the
Yeah,
reason
okay,
why
okay.
Sarah is behaving the way she is because she's receiving the term go through a cultural filter. In
What do you mean
Jamaican
receiving?
culture,
What do you
go.
mean?
let me
What
clarify
is go-go to
because I see
y'all?
what's happening.
What's
I see
go-go to y'all?
bro, in Jamaican culture, go is a stripper.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's but go-go culture, it kind of does.
Not good. Well,
Hey, this is PG, fam. This is PG.
Yeah, but the idea is the chorus. When you hear that musical break and you hear those bells, it's a percussion instrument. It's a percussive instrument. So the percussionist stays in while the bass and keys fall out. But that part is really, we're using the pre-chorus as a break and as a build. So what you have is the chorus is humble enough to be used by you. Going into the bridge, yeah, great man fall. That's the bridge. The bridge ends with I receive you, I receive you. So when you hear me go, so will you, that so will you is taking us back to the pre-chorus to go back into the chorus. Yes.
See, I knew it wasn't the bridge enough, because I'm like, is it the bridge?
No,
Yeah.
that little part is the pre-chorus that's completed after the bridge to take us back to the chorus and out.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's my bad for distracting everybody about what go-go is.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Trust, you're good.
Go bells.
No. You're good.
Hopefully
You're
we
good.
can come back to that and we can get some translation
Clear that
on
up.
after our Zoom break, because right now we're about to have to go.
Yeah.
because Zoom's
We're
about to
supposed to
end
do-
on us, but
Yeah.
we'll be right back.
After these messages from our sponsors.
all right. So where were we?
We're talking about go-go bells, and I
Yeah.
lost track.
Yeah, we were talking about go bells.
Yeah.
all my DC friends who watch this, I'm from kind of the DC area. Like, they'll know what I'm talking about. They're like, oh yeah, go-go music.
Go bells.
When we say go-go, we don't necessarily, it's like a genre of music to us.
Yes.
It's
As
not
opposed
like
to
right. Like
Go-go.
Jamaican terms. Yeah,
Right.
Sorry
right.
about that.
Okay.
And
right.
go for those who might be less familiar. I believe, Sean, it might have been like a 60s era dance culture. Was it 60s or 50s? Somewhere in that era, yeah.
Basically, it's like it started really early after. I mean, I would say it's a little later than that. I would say it's 70s, 80s.
70s, 80s
now.
Okay.
But it's still, and it's super young. Like, a lot of people don't realize how it's influential in a lot of ways, but it's never touched mainstream music. At least to my ear, I don't think I've ever heard of like a mainstream track like embrace go-go music, like, because it's just such a subculture of so many other genres, and like it doesn't get that sort of respect, I would say. But I mean, you ask anybody from DC, like, hey man, like, like you were at this club or whatever, this performance venue or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I saw all these different go-go artists. Like, it's a whole cultural vibe. I'm not like literally from DC, but my dad grew up in DC. I have a bunch of family from DC, so I know that like go-go is like
Is a thing,
like
and it's
it.
not strippers, guys. It's
No,
a
it's not
musical
strippers. It's not
subculture.
strippers.
It's so funny that he said if you go to the club and you see go-go's. It's so funny that he said that.
It's still falling in the stereotype. But the beauty of these kind of you see, I love these conversations because cultural exposure is such a fun thing for me.
Yeah,
it's so fun hearing, because it was fun being on the outside witnessing these two cultures colliding. Because like go-go culture, and Tara's like, what is go-go culture? And she was like, no. You guys are exchanging.
It's
culture.
not what you
right. It's not what your culture.
It's not just. It's really not strippers. Like,
right.
I mean, in a sense, depending where you are, depending what venue you're at, yeah, that could be involved, and it's not, of the Lord. We know that, but in terms of like it's still its own culture beyond that. Like you can add like churches in DC, the drummer. Oh yeah, you best believe he knows the go-go patterns. Like that's
right.
Like, that's his drumming pattern.
Right. So it's kind of like how today you have a lot of gospel musicians who are influenced by jazz, swing, shuffle.
Exactly.
Those musical art forms, because they've been tapped into those kind of musical cultures in the same way go-go.
Yes.
But that's enough for go-go.
But it all came back from the church anyway.
Yeah.
It all came from the church anyway.
That's true. That's a whole other conversation. The gospel art. art.
Yeah. So I am. Victor just said, let's get some go-go on this.
Oh, that's not what happened. That was James is doing. That was the art. So let me put the blame where the feet. Let me lay blame where blame must be laid. All right. So Javis McIntosh is a genius. Right. I really love and respect Javis. Shout out to Javis. This is
your producer, the producer.
Yeah, this is my sister Javis all the time. Javis Pioneer, he leads Pioneer. That's a whole other conversation. I really want to get him on these talks for probably like one of the episodes. But Javis would have, in the production journey, he would have been very, 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 very instrumental in terms of certain elements, hearing them and feeling like this pocket. So the break wasn't my idea. The break was Javis. Oh, we're going to do the musical break here. This time, because the role of a producer is more expansive than just sitting around engineering, usually. Yep. The best producers are very multifaceted. They're multi-instrumentalists. Javis is a multi-instrumentalist, a vocal director, a recording engineer, and a sound audio engineer. So Javis has breadth that's rare in the Jamaican space. And then especially when it comes on to live music, which is why Javis is my guy, because like I can get excited with Javis in ways I can't get excited with some producers, because they're so tied to, like, no shame to like software sounds and stuff, but they're so locked into the 4/4 and into the syncopated pattern that a computer generates, that they lack the expansive world building sort of mind that Javis has. So when you go to Javis and like, Javis, I hear dun, 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 and he's like, all right, and Javis was listening quietly. Okay, all right, that's what you're hearing. All right. So watch this now. And Javis begins to say to you, this is what I'm feeling. And the band will be going in, for example, and James is like, all right, so the last pre-chorus before the chorus, LJ and Chad, stop playing, and Mark, you take it, and that's how his mind works in terms of engineering a break into the final pre-chorus before the chorus. You know what I mean? Because we've been hearing the pre-chorus 2 times before in the song, so obviously as a producer, you don't want it to sound the same. Yes. So you would have said, this one, let's do this one a little bit different going on. I mean, the guy is a brilliant guy. I'm going to try and get him on for one of these episodes to talk with us about that journey, because like Javis is a guy I love. Javis, like Javis, I love Javis. I love Javis. Yeah.
But great. Awesome. No. Let's talk about the vocalists. Like, how did you? Seriously. Victor, can't you wait? Like, you can't wait. It's like, yes. Let's talk about it. Yes. All right, yes. I'll wait. So, thank you. Wait, I say.
Wait on the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was the thought process like when you were selecting your vocalists and, background vocalists? We call them BGV.
Yeah.
I learned that from Victor.
Yeah.
That was a new term for me too.
BGV.
Really?
Yeah.
But I knew what he meant. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Cool. So selecting BGVs. So shout out to Tony and Reed. So Tony Reed.
Woo!
Tony Reed is one of the singers on this. Daniel Dundas, one of the singers on this.
Oh, yes.
Janelle Grant. Yeah, man. Janelle Grant, also one of the singers. I believe they are the 3 singers on this song. And these guys, first of all, when I was selecting what I call supporting vocalists, because background vocalists has an industry stigma attached to it that I try to move away from. The stigma attached to it is that background vocalists, even the name implies they are in the background canopy, therefore their role is less than the lead. And that's a false narrative to my mind. When I'm writing songs, a lot of the times I'm hearing the beat, quote unquote, BGBs taking the lead in certain parts. All right, think of Kirk Franklin singers. What are they? What are Kirk Franklin singers? Are they background vocalists?
Literally all.
They are the singers. They're right.
They are.
They are the singers. So when I write music, more times than not, I'm hearing a part or parts or elements which I feel like the BGVs really could take or should take, or they should be very present in those parts vocally. And not, and there are parts that I'll hear them as a background, a very soft background, providing that padding for what's going on sometimes. But in any event, these guys were the guys. So in choosing them, honestly, at the time, I didn't know that many people. And these guys were friends. First of all, Daniel Dundas, he went to Ulmas as well. We spoke about the Ulmas connection last week.
Yeah, we did.
He
high
went to
school
Ulmas as
in
well.
Jamaica.
Yes. So that's a high school in Jamaica. Janelle Grant, I met her through music circles and through Stillwaters. I think I met all the Grants, Joel, Jonelle, Janelle, and Daniel through Stillwater circles. So that's where I would have come in contact with her. And Tony, I would have also met her, I believe, through Stillwater circles. So when I would have had to do this song at Stillwaters, they would have gifted me with saying, Jens and Tony are going to sing with you on this song. So that's how I would have gotten connected there. Daniel, I'm trying to remember how Daniel entered the mix. He might have been at Stillwaters or sometime after. I don't remember. But Daniel and I were just like friends. So he just got pulled in somewhere along the line. Like, Daniel, we need a male tenor. And at the time, he was just getting really his feet wet in doing supporting vocals with a number of people. Today, Daniel is easily one of the most consistent and faithful and strong gospel supporting vocals, tenor male voices in Jamaican gospel space. I mean, Sara can attest to that. Daniel is everywhere. Everywhere you see Daniel, bald-head Daniel with big muscles popping out his shirt, kind of hobbling through.
His
hobbling through it because Daniel he's a gym rat, so he's pumping iron. Right. You know what I mean? But good.
He looks good.
Good dude, a really cool dude. So that's how I would have connected with these singers. I really wanted them to share their stories in connection with the song, but I mean, at some point we can probably try and connect with them to get their stuff. Yeah. But yeah, these guys, I want to thank them publicly because, I've heard of people like using singers to kind of make themselves look good. I big up my singers. I give thanks to the Lord for these guys because without them, the song would have, you can hear it, the song would have lost so much character. Just imagine Humble Enough without BGVs. Like, what would it be? It'd be empty. Nope. You know what I mean? So I give God thanks for these guys. Amazing.
It would be empty enough.
Empty enough.
No.
Empty enough. Sung by you.
Oh my God.
Victor's gonna write a part 2.
I'm gonna write a part 2 called Empty Enough. It's an acoustic stripped down version with no singers, just a solo.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Victor, I love how you changed the name from background vocalist to
supporting vocalist. Yeah,
yes. I really love that.
That's really when you think about a house, without columns, everything collapses. You don't see the columns. The columns are not as visible as the doors or as the windows or as the TV or the more enticing appliances or fixtures in the house, but they are far more important than you even realize.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's and that's why I use terms like supporting vocals, because without these guys, no support, fam, no support.
There would have been no track.
So for the next series, we won't be saying background vocalist. We'll be saying supporting.
That's right.
Amen.
That's how we do it on this show.
That's how we do it.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Now we're gonna wrap things up, right? Shawn, did I miss anything?
No. I mean, I asked Victor the main questions I asked. I actually did see something though. This is kind of off the rabbit trail, so to speak. I kind of tend to go there, but
that's all right. What's on
what I'm looking through the credits currently, and I see that there's a we were just talking about Tony Reed. I seen the percussion is delegated to Mark Anthony Reed.
Oh,
Are they related?
They are.
Not?
So this is a joke, and as you mentioned it, there's something else that came to my mind I want to mention quickly as well. Whenever we would have rehearsals, Tony and Mark would always joke about some relationship like long lost cousins. We don't know. I think that debate has never actually been settled. We don't know if they're actually related. To our minds,
we need it settled.
We don't know if I should actually find out, because I think the last time I spoke to them, both Tony and Mark did worship at the same church at Waffle. Yeah, so they've stayed in touch really well.
They're cousins.
Probably cousins. But there's one other thing I'd like to mention really quickly. Like, I remember last time talking to you guys about iReturn and mentioning Mikey working on iReturn. For humble enough, there's a quick testimony I need to share. So I think we did live music for humble enough already, and wanted to lay horns. Now, if you know anything about brass instrument and horn instruments, for Sarah's benefit and like the audience, for example,
thank you so much.
All those trumpet sounding stuff. People just call them trumpets, but they're not all trumpets. It's different brass instruments, horns and stuff. Javis and I were talking, and usually we would have just asked like a LJ to just lay horns from the keyboard, lay synthetic horns. But Javis, this guy, Javis says to me, I found some guys in the States, some African Americans in the States who are part of like a horns group. And when the pandemic just started, they were starting to do Facebook Lives where they were producing songs on their Facebook Live. I don't know how Javis found these guys, but Javis was on these guys' lives watching them do their stuff. Now, if you look in the credits, Shawn, do you have the credits in front of you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Who do you see horns attributed to for Humble?
That's our Arnita Johnson.
There you go, Arnita Johnson. So now Arnita and her gang, her horns gang, these guys were cranking out music when the COVID pandemic just broke out. They were going on Facebook Live, and they're producers as well. So like people would send them tracks and they'd play there in the rooms, in their bedrooms, lay the horns line, send it off. I mean, these guys were cranking out music. Javis somehow got wind of them. Javis reached out to him and was like, he reached out to me and was like, bro, we should get live horns. And I was like, listen, I want live horns. If you know anything about me and live music, I want everything as live, and as if I could have an orchestra to work with, I would take it. I would love to write music with an orchestra. I would literally just lose it. You know what I mean? But with limitations, of course, I had to like work within the confines. But when JV said to me, hey, these guys are doing live music, let's try and get them. I was like, all right. I had no money to get these guys. I was like, let's ask them and see what they think. Let's see what happens here. Javis reaches out to them, and as it turned out, they were able to negotiate and work out a deal. And we scraped together. I think that was actually one of the times. There was a time I had to use that rent money to pay for recordings. There were two occasions.
Wait.
Yep. Wait. There was two times I used my rent money to pay for
rent money?
Recording and live music. And I think that was one of the times I think I had to, because listen, when God places a vision in your heart, it's like an uncontrollable flame that you can snuff it out, you can put it out and survive, or you can allow it to consume you and just see where it goes. And it was one of those times that like, I'm just gonna burn. I'm just gonna see where this goes. You know what I mean? It was a faith move, but yeah.
That was a risk. That was a big risk.
Yeah, but then today, when you hear us on like Humble Enough, there's a reason why the music of it hits you a certain way. It's like, what's going on here? Sure. Because you know what I mean? Somebody had to struggle and put the blood, sweat, and tears behind the vision of what God gave the song to be. Big up Javis for finding them, big up Arnita Johnson and her whole crew, because it was a number of those guys, but she did her major parts in it. And so that those horns actually live horns. And so that was something that was incredible. Yeah. Not just a keyboard generated thing. Live horns are on Humble Enough and definitely one. I think it's those two that have live horns. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
And they sound phenomenal. Like whatever processing done on them, like they just sound like in the cans, bro. They sound like straight up coming down from God's cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
It's just like, ooh, like the way that hits your ear is just like,
like final thought from me is when I was introduced to like Arnita and her crew, I think for the first time, it was so beautiful because for the first time, here we are stuck in a pandemic, and I got to meet these guys kind of because of the pandemic. Because I mean, their Facebook lives were a creature of innovation. It was out of need. They needed to go live to share their art with people and like get clients and whatever, because the typical ways of connecting with audiences were gone. And that's how somebody from Jamaica was able to like contact these guys and, you know, get live horns on like a Humble Enough and a Wonder. But like working with them in that process and hearing like when Javis when I would have heard the tracks without the live horns and then heard when Javis sent me back and said, bro, horns are now on. I was just like, if you know, in like Ty Tribbett songs, people who love horns like Kirk Franklin and Ty Tribbett, who I listen to both a lot. When Ty Tribbett says horns and you hear and it's like I'm just like, yo, I finally, I'm not on their level by any stretch of the imagination, but I got a taste of, this is why you guys love horns. They're addictive, you know what I mean? And so that experience, and I mean, this is just an encouragement to like any single songwriter. Expose yourself to as many creatives as you can, because some of you have writer's block and some of you have creative roadblocks. A lot of it is because you're not tapping into creativity. You're not soaking in it, man. Soaking creativity. Listen to more people. Go to live events when you can and soak in those kind of stuff. Not everybody will create live music, but these things will inspire you. Because after working with Arnita, now when I'm writing funk, I have a whole compartment of my brain, my processors devoted to, we have to write some brass lines, because you know there has to be a brass line on this. But yeah, that's just a side note. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And what genre of music is this song, Humble Enough?
Humble Enough is funk, soul, mostly funk and soul, really. What were you saying, Sean?
I said go.
Oh, you like that word, Sean?
Sean, you had that word. Come on. Sean, let it go.
I mean, if you gave that track to a go-go drummer, oh yeah, they'd be all over that. No joke.
Sean is not.
And
Sean, you're punning your words, Sean. Sean
is not letting this go.
He's very punny. He's very punny.
You're something else, Joe. Yeah.
Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Song Distillery.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah.
But no, seriously though, Victor, this song is, you know, Humble Enough. Only track 2 in this EP. Again, the breadth, the message, everything you put into this, you know, is honoring to God. And as a brother in Christ, I thank you for this track, because not only what it's done in my heart, but I always tell you, the people you bless with this message are going to go on to bless other people. And it's just crazy to see how God works through that and how he uses people to do those things. But you know, I know this song will have an impact in so many people's lives. And but just thank you, man.
Oh, thank you guys for having
thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank our audience. Thanks guys for tuning in. We're gonna keep talking about Heartwork EP with Sara and with Shawn. I want to thank you guys for being here and having this dialogue with me, you know, providing me with the opportunity to talk, you know, in a way candidly and like do a deep dive in terms of my own creative work, you know, which is a huge privilege. So thanks guys.
Of course, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor.
All right, guys, everyone come check us back out next week on whenever I will be dropping these episodes on Saturday.
Weekly,
correct?
Yep, it should be Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, great. So yeah, be sure to check us out next week, guys, and take care. Make sure to leave a comment, share with your friends,
like subscribe,
hit
the notification bell,
follow us on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere. Sarah, what's your Instagram handle?
I'm Sarah_Ann.Edwards.
SARA_ANN.Edwards. All right, Sean, what's yours, bro?
At Shuffle Geek on everything. If you want to follow my music producing stuff, if you're more interested, not in much as that, but also if you're thinking about creativity, music, art, faith, and culture, be sure to follow Otherworldly. It's Otherworldly with no vowels. .x on Instagram and then _x on Twitter. That's all we're really at right now.
And Sean is a producer, by the way. We never got that on cam. Yes. So he's really no, it was off cam.
it was off cam. But yeah, I'm a music producer and I've been producing for like 6, 7 years. It's like between 7 and 8 years, I think. Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's all.
All right,
Beautiful,
guys.
beautiful. Good.
All right, guys.
All right,
See you next
everybody.
time
Yeah.
on Song Distillery.
Yeah. Bye.
I'll return. Oh, I'll